Namaskar. Welcome to Mood India, a show featuring performing arts from the Indian subcontinent. If you have seen Bharatnaatyam, you would know that it has a universal appeal. And if you have ever seen Indian classical dance, it was most probably Bharatnaatyam because it is the most popular form of the Indian dance styles. Today, to discuss its origins, its evolution, and its today present form, we have two dancers, Asavari Devadiga and Malati Gadgil. Asavari Devadiga has been in the Bay Area for some time now. She's learned dance for 25 years. For 10 years, she's been teaching dance, and when she's not dancing, she's an environmental consultant. And Malati Gadgil, she has been learning for 18 years. For many of those years, she has been teaching, helping her teacher, and now she is running a small business when she's not dancing. So welcome.
Thank you.
Bharatnatyam is a very ancient style. It must have gone through many evolutions. How did it begin?
Bharatnatyam is one of the most traditional Indian classical dance forms originating from the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu. It is one of the oldest and the richest Indian cultural dances. Its antiquity lies about 3,000 years ago with its rich history and mythology. Bharatnatyam was initially known as Sadiratam or court dance and Dasiyatam or dance performed by Devdasis or servants of God. These Devdasis performed Bharatnatyam in the South Indian temples. They used to sing, dance and play musical instruments. The Devdasis are said to have devoted their entire lives to the service of God. Therefore, we see that predominantly Bharatnatyam compositions are focused or are in praise of different gods and goddesses in the Indian mythology, such as Lord Rama, Lord Shiva, and Lord Krishna. Today, besides the traditional themes, Bharatnatyam dance dramas or concerts explore even new and modern themes such as struggle of India's independence or status of women in India.
There is a few popular roots of the word Bharatanatyam. One of them is Bha as in Bhava, Ra as in Raga, and Ta as in Tala. These three combined to form Bharatanatyam. The other story is that there was a time of great greed and vices on the earth, and several gods and goddesses went up to Brahma, who is known as the god of creation, and asked him to please translate the existing four Vedas, to translate it into common words for the common man. And he assigned this task to Bharata. Bharata Rishi wrote the form of dance, drama and music, combined it together and was called the Bharatanatyam Shastra. It is thus the encyclopedia. And today Bharatanatyam sort of uses that as an encyclopedia, as a dictionary for all of its movements and form.
But it must have gone through many historical upheavals over the years before it came to this form.
Right.
I'm sure it was not a performing art then, it was mostly a temple dance, right? So when did it become a performing art?
Actually, Bharatnatyam seems to have chiefly developed in the South Indian state of Tamil Nadu, like I said before. From the chronicles, we learned that Chola and Pallava kings were great patrons of art and music.
That's how many years ago?
It was around in the 15th and 16th centuries. And during the Maratha rule from 1670s through 1850s over the southern Indian region of Thanjavur, the art of Bharatnatyam received considerable encouragement. King Shahaji, one of the Maratha rulers, even composed around 500 short poetic compositions or padams. King Shahaji, another of the Maratha rulers, had in his reign, the art of Bharatnatyam received considerable encouragement along with a definite shape. It was revitalized and redefined by the Tanjore quartet, Chinnaya, Ponnaya, Vadivellu and Shivanandam. These were four brothers and disciples of Guru Muthuswami Dikshitar, one of the trinities of Carnatic music or South Indian classical music. The Tanjore quartet, what they did was tighten up Bharatnatyam and organize the Bharatnatyam movements into progressive series called Adavus.
So it is mostly to do with technique, or was it a different in the themes that were brought out?
It was more of the technique. They also actually composed music in specifically for Bharatnatyam, and also introduced new items that brought out different aspects of music as well as dance.
So the music for Bharatnatyam is what kind of music?
Bharatnatyam is performed traditionally to South Indian classical music, which is Carnatic music.
So the structure comes from South Indian classical
That's right.
music.
That's correct.
Yes.
And then Shahaji wrote all these verses. They have were they along the same themes like the mythological stories?
That's right.
That's correct.
Yes.
And when does this modern revival start?
So unfortunately, from about the 1800s, many of the dancers lost patronage from some of the big kings and queens of India because of the British rule. Their kingdoms were annexed. They weren't able to support these artists anymore, and we see a significant decline in this art form. However, just before the independence and post-independence, definitely, some Indologists and other dancers took it upon themselves to revive this beautiful dance form. Also, before the independence, it was considered mainly a temple tradition, which, as Asavari said, was done by the Devdasis. After independence, girls from middle-class families started entering Bharatanatyam, learning it and performing it, and it became a very popular art form in India. Also, the Guru Shishya Parampara, which is the Guru, the teacher, and the disciples, that whole relationship took a different form. They started living together. The disciples used to live with the Guru, and many of them actually engaged themselves with and learned like an instrument and music to completely immerse themselves in this dance form, and that became a complete devotion from their side. Of course, today we've seen great changes in this art form. There are certificate courses, hobby classes for more serious dancers. There are even master's level and PhD level courses that are offered in universities. Many of the dancers now have developed their own style, and they have started dance schools, and they encourage and teach children in their dance schools.
So now it is now a performing art that
Yes.
has been revived over the last 50, 60 years maybe.
Definitely.
I also know that your teacher, you share a common teacher, Suchitra Bhide Safikar, and I heard she is a great exponent of the dance, and she's also a great researcher. What are her contributions to this dance style?
So she has done a lot of contribution in terms of both the form, the technique of Bharatanatyam, as well as the music. She has made certain changes. But her great research has been to present Marathi compositions through Bharatanatyam.
Marathi is a language of Maharashtra, the
which is-
western state in India.
Right.
Close to Bombay, if people usually know Bombay. So it's the language, and that is where we live. So to make that more appealing to the people of Maharashtra, she has researched the compositions which were written by Marathi rulers in Tanjavur, and we present them.
So most commonly when we see Bharatnatyam, it is done to Tamil music or
That is
some
right.
South Indian language like Telugu, Kannada. But this is a unique form where you dance to Marathi, written 200-300 years ago.
Yes.
And those compositions have been revived, and that's the kind of dance that you are going to present today.
That's right.
That is
Yes.
correct.
Now, about the technique part of it, Natya Shastra talks a lot about the grammar and the stances and the positions. All Indian classical dances take from those roots. They use that as an encyclopedia, but each style has interpreted it in different way. What is so special that Bharatanatyam becomes a different style, say, from other classical dance styles in India? Is it the stance? Is it the technique? Is it the language? Is it the music?
I think it's a rich tradition that comes with it, and the dedication from the dancers themselves, and coming from the rich history of gods and goddesses and different mythological characters that are introduced through dance that brings out its distinguished character. The basic distinctive feature of Bharatanatyam is a square-like position, or Ayata Mandala or Aramandali, and from them There are different body movements and footsteps that stem out of this square-like position, and which I can demonstrate later. And then there are different kinds of eye movements and head movements and neck movements and the different positions of feet that have different definitions, and these are all compiled in the form of verses in Sanskrit language. So these are all brought together as a rich traditional, tradition or heritage that we imbibe from our gurus.
So you can say that there is a part of it which is a pure dance, then you have the gesture language.
That's right.
And you put together to make it into a kind of a dramatized.
So the hand gestures, such as, you know, with both a single hand and double hand, or both the hands, sanyukta and unsanyukta hastas, we can use them to make words, to show cities, to show rivers, to show trees. These are the things which you can use using your hand. There are also gods and goddesses, like Lord Krishna with a peacock feather in his head and a flute in his other hand. You can use Ganesha. Everybody knows the Lord Ganesha with a trunk, the elephant-headed with a big ear and a trunk. So these are the things that you can show through your hands. Also, like you had mentioned before, the expression that comes out of a dancer is not just restricted to the hands or to the neck movements and to the eye movements, but it is the entire body language that they use. And this is called the Angika Abhinay, which is Anga is the body and Abhinay is what you portray through your body. The most extreme and pure form of Abhinay is the Satvika Abhinay, where the dancer actually truly feels what she's trying to express, that her eyes may well up with tears when she's trying to show sadness or sorrow. She might get goosebumps on her hands. That is the Abhinay that you show through your entire body, along with your hands and your necks and your head.
Now, you use all this to narrate stories.
That's right.
Can you demonstrate a sentence or say something that uses gesture language?
Actually, we can describe to you the item that we are going to present later on that has an ongoing dialogue or a conversation between Lord Shiva and Parvati.
Would you like to do that now?
Yes. So Shiva says, "Ata shabarahona zato mi tvare." Becoming a tribal man, here I go quickly into the jungle to hunt. So he says, "Ata shabarahona zato mi tvarene." Here I'm going to become a hunter and go quickly into the forest. This is the kind of entire sentences that you can show through Abhinay. Meanwhile, Parvati says, "Hote mi zari saman, hoina mi shabarina." That if you go as a hunter, I will also become a huntress and come with you.
So this is the bow and the arrow.
That is the bow and the arrow.
Okay. And so you make these sentences, you make it into a story, and now you use the entire sentence to make it into a narration.
Right.
Now, what makes this? This is, I think most people associate Indian dance with Bharatnatyam, but you know that there are different styles within India. Bharatnatyam seems to have an angular movement, more of a balanced movement. Our body is always in balance, the right and the left. Like you said, the square movement. Can we have some, can you demonstrate for us some kinds of pure dance stances so that we understand the nature of the technique used in Bharatnatyam?
The most distinctive feature of Bharatnatyam is its square-like position, ayatamandala or aramandali. There are different body movements and footsteps that stem from this basic position. Also, there are various hastamudras or hand gestures such as pataka, tripataka, kapithya, mrugashirsha. There are different head movements such as shirobhedas that go samam, udvahitam, adhomukham, alokitam, dhrutam. There are different eye movements or drushti bhedas such as samam, alolitam, sachi, pralokitam, nimilite. And also there are different positions in which you keep your foot or padabhedas, such as udghatitam, samam chaiva, tatha agratala sancharaha, anchita, kunchita, suchi. All these divisions and gestures are presented in the form of verses or shlokams in Sanskrit language. There are various basic dance steps in varying complexity that are combined together to form pure dance patterns. Basic dance steps such as tai, ya, tai, tai, ya, tai, or tayyum tatta, tayyum ta, tayyum tatta, tayyum ta, or ta tai tai ta, dit tai tai ta, ta tai tai ta, dit tai tai ta. Such dance steps are combined together to form pure dance patterns called jati or tirmanam that are performed to bowl or words such as tadikudin kutaka takatadin kutaka tadid dhalangutaka. Or they can be also performed to musical notes or swaras. Malati will now demonstrate a pure dance pattern, jati, along with swaras.
What are the other techniques that you use?
I would actually like to mention also that there are two different types of dance forms, nritta and nritya. Nritta is pure dance form with more of body movements, hand gestures and footsteps, while nritya includes interpretative dance form which has more facial expressions and abhinay. That's how you use the whole body as a vehicle to express or convey the language of dance and reach out to the audience. And therefore we go into the details of basic dance steps that are put together as we put together words to form essays, and we put together these dance steps to form creative patterns of dance.
I think we should see a sample of that.
The first item that we've performed today was an invocatory item in pure dance or the nritta style. The final composition for today is a combination of nritta, pure dance, and abhinay. This is an ongoing dialogue between Shiva and his wife Parvati. Shiva says, the Lord of Dance Shiva, he says, Ata shabarahona Zato mi tvarene. He says, becoming a hunter, I'm going into the jungle very quickly. I have no time to waste. And Parvati says, Bhanati zari saman hote mi shabarina. I'm an equal to you and I'm going to come with you as a companion. Then she goes on to say, I will pluck the leaves in the jungle and adorn myself. I'll wear flowers in my hair and look very pretty. I'll play a musical instrument and absolutely mesmerize the deer so you can go and hunt it.
Thank you, Asavari and Malati. It was a pleasure to have you in the studio. That's all for today's edition of Mood India. For all of us here, I'm Vrunda Bhandarkar. Thank you.